Large-sized tile can be a beautiful and distinctive design element. And installing larger tiles is no more difficult than working with smaller tiles when you use the proper technique. It's mostly a matter of what we call trowel and error, the way the trowel is used to apply mortar. We're going to show you the technique that will reduce the time required for installation and give your tiles the best possible support. This technique has been tested and approved by the Technical Committee of the National Tile Contractors Association. Our goal is to achieve maximum mortar coverage for bonding the tile. You can see that the glass tile on the right has much better coverage than the one on the left. The difference is that the one on the left was applied in the old way. The old way of installing tile was to apply setting material mortars in a swirling pattern with the notched side of the trowel. But in this case, the old way is not the best way. Here's why. Swirls do not distribute the mortar uniformly. Where swirls cross, larger masses of mortar form. This prohibits uniform disbursement of the mortar and makes it difficult to achieve even surfaces, especially with larger tiles. Here are two more problems. Swirling not only leads to masses of mortar, it can leave air pockets where the tile is not bonded to the substrate. Also, unevenly distributed mortar increases the risk of insufficient support of the tile along edges and corners. Pressing down on the tile does not assure coverage when mortar has been applied in a swirled motion. Even beat-in with a rubber mallet won't give you uniform disbursement of the setting mortar. The result can be cracked tile, lippage, and bond failure. Problems like this hurt the market for tile, so it is in our best interest to make sure this does not happen. The proper way is a simple change of technique that will work when substrate trades have provided a flat and even surface, complying with the ANSI and TCA guidelines. First, key the mortar into the substrate with the flat side of the trowel. Then, comb with the notched side of the trowel in one horizontal direction. Here, for comparison, is what the surface will look like when you use the proper technique versus what it looked like using the old swirls. This horizontal combed pattern will lead to a more even distribution of the mortar and better bonding of the tile. And there is one more step that will ensure your installation is as good as it can be. When you push the tile into the mortar, move each one perpendicularly across the ridges forward and back about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. This is what the proper mortar application looks like from the side. The horizontal combing has left ridges and valleys. The perpendicular pressing flattens the ridges and closes up the valleys, making sure the tile gets maximum coverage and edges and corners are fully supported, with no back buttering or beat-in necessary. The same cross-sectional view of the swirled mortar installation shows how gaps can remain. Some of the swirled ridges are in line with the back and forth pressing motion, so that motion does not help close the gaps. The back and forth pressing motion only works when the mortar ridges are straight and perpendicular to the direction in which you move the tile. To be sure you are getting maximum coverage, you can remove and check the back of a tile occasionally during your installation. We want to achieve maximum coverage on all tile sizes. For 12 by 12 inch tiles, the best trowel to use is often one with 1/2 inch deep oval notches spaced 1/4 inch apart. Maximum coverage is especially important on exterior installations and very large tile, such as 24 by 24 inches. If you're not getting complete coverage, it may be necessary to use a larger notch-sized trowel. Different trowel notch sizes are recommended for installations of different sized tiles and to compensate for substrate irregularities. We're going to watch this technique being used again in real time. But first, let's go over what to look for when watching it. Key the mortar with the flat side of the trowel. Comb in one horizontal direction with the notched side of the trowel. And press the tile into place using a perpendicular motion to flatten the ridges and attain maximum coverage. Do not twist the tiles. If you're working with a chalk line to keep your rows straight, do not leave a void between the chalk line and the setting mortar. Using the method being demonstrated here will give you a better installation in less time. And using our glass tiles, we can see that this technique has given us an even surface that supports the tiles completely. And of course, a beautiful installation reflects nicely on you.